What's up, guys? So you guys know we have this sick Arapaima in quarantine here. It's probably been about 2 months since I've physically seen him eat.
I'd say closer to 3.
Yeah, it might be even 3, but you can see he is looking a bit better, but we still cannot get him to eat. So what we're going to do today, we are going to force feed this Arapaima. We have never force fed an Arapaima before, so you guys are gonna join us along on this video and see how we do it. It's a learning curve for both of us. Alright, so one of the main concerns with him is opening up his mouth. He is a bony tongued fish, so you gotta, for one, get past that tongue and then be able to get down his gullet and into his stomach. So what we came up with, we went ahead and grabbed a syringe. I cut the tip off of it so I can load it with food. I'm gonna pull him out. We're gonna set him on a table. I'm gonna open his mouth. My dad is then going to take this piece of shrimp, load it inside of the syringe, kind of just like this. Bam. Now we can shove this syringe down his mouth and into his gullet. Once it's in there, you can take the plunger and push the food into his mouth. Hopefully that will work, and he can get some nutrition into his belly.
Record.
Alright. There goes nothing. Alright. See, he should never be this limp.
Over here. You gotta be right here.
There we go. Oop, I feel it. Good job.
Nope, it didn't.
Nope.
It's in his mouth. Put him back in the water. He'll spit it out. Told you it's hard to get it down the gullet. Oh, maybe he'll swallow it.
Maybe.
Keep open, keep open. You'll see the lump right in his throat, bottom of his mouth. That'll disappear and go down. See the lump there? Yep. It's still in his mouth. He's chewing it though. He ain't spitting it out. Let's hope this works.
Alright, so take it here.
Look, the lump's gone. It's between his arms now. So it went down deeper. Or between his front fins.
He got some air.
It definitely made its way to his belly. He swallowed it. He didn't spit it back out. So although we didn't do our job correctly, it didn't open the gullet and go in. It was in the back of his throat to where he swallowed it and didn't spit it out.
Right.
And that's all I care about. So that was the least amount of stress on him.
Well, let's see. He's just kind of holding his gills open there. There's still a possible chance that he could regurgitate it.
Just keep watching him for a while. That was way easier than I thought. For one, we know he's lethargic from lack of food.
Right. Well, if he takes this down, we can honestly do this every day, every other day until he's eating on his own again. I want to see him go up and take a new breath of air. That means his airway's clear and he can continue on. Right now, if he's got a mouthful full of food, he's not going to go up and grab a gulp of air.
Oh, yeah, he spit it out. Dang it.
All right, we might try it again.
Okay, guys, we're ready for round 2. We've got a longer tube and a longer push rod. It's preloaded with the food inside, and it's smaller, so we can try and push the whole thing into his gullet.
Last time, we're gonna get it this time.
You got to point towards in line with this. The tail that way. There you go.
and just push past it. There you go. I feel it in the stomach.
It's in the stomach.
Good job. Look at that. Now, there you go, buddy.
I can see the lump in the stomach too.
Yep. Now hopefully that is not enough to go ahead and send him over the top. Hopefully we did this just at the right time, because he's still got some strength. He's able to swim around. He still acts like a a fish. He's not like super lethargic, turning upside down. He did still go after food, but he just did not swallow it. So hopefully this is enough to get him some nutrition in his belly. Oh, there you go. He has got up some air, so he should be good for about another 15 minutes or so.
And we have the tool to do it again daily.
Yep.
We'll set it right on top.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it daily if it works out like this. We can do it every other day, but hopefully this is what works for us. We've done it in the past on gars that did not eat for like 4 months, and then the second we force fed them, the next day the gar was just hungry for food.
That's what I was going to say. About 24 hours later, the next day, they were ready to eat. So hopefully he eats tomorrow.
Yeah, so I will give you guys an update on him tomorrow. They can see just the tiniest little lump in his stomach, but I did feel it go in. So he's got a little bit of shrimp in his stomach. We'll see what comes of it.
Hey, we force fed an Arapaima today.
Sure did. All right, so here's about an hour later. You can see that the food, I don't know if you guys can see that well, but there's a little divot here and a little bump out right there. You can see the food is gotten through his stomach just a tad bit, and he is just relaxing on the bottom of the tank. So hopefully it still keeps going in a positive direction. All right, guys, we're at that 24-hour mark. It is the most crucial mark when you are force feeding a fish. If something bad's going to happen, it's going to happen within that first 24 hours. Let's go ahead and check over here. Man. So, it was a little hard for me just to make this part of the video. I really did not want to do it. The first thing I did was I ran out here and checked my Arapaima, because I couldn't wait to give you guys a positive update. Well, in this case, not so positive. But like I said, that first 24 hours is always the hardest part when force feeding a fish. We went into this knowing that force feeding an Arapaima is super hard to do. And one that was kind of this far gone, like I waited for the last possible second to go ahead and force feed him. And you know what? He met his the demise, unfortunately. But Arapaimas look like this. They're supposed to look fat and healthy. That they got a head, and then they go to a fat body, no matter how big the Arapaima is. He just got so deathly skinny, and we talked to a couple people about it, and it could have been something that wasn't even a disease. It could have been something like he actually burned his labyrinth organ. Jesus, kids, we got Beavis and Butthead over here. They are some hungry boys. But yeah, we were talking to the professionals, someone who knew a little bit more about the anatomy and whatnot, and said that he could have burnt his labyrinth organ, and basically once his stomach pinches shut, there's almost no remedying that. So we waited until the last possible second. Like, I felt if we waited another week, he was going to die on his own. So we did what we thought what was best and tried to force feed the Arapaima. Again, this is a learning curve for everyone who is watching this video. You might be, have a fish that you need to force feed it. It should not be your first fix-all. It should be your last resort. In this case, I wasted around $600 in meds, maybe even a bit more. I literally hammered them with everything. Like, I know deep down inside, I tried my best to save that fish, and unfortunately, he was too far gone. But I can at least, live knowing that I did my best. and that is the most that we can ask for. So I am sorry there wasn't a more positive result, but I do have to get my boy out of the tank and get him buried in the backyard. But this 1,000 gallon is looking super nice. You see all these biters down here. There goes the endlecheri. There goes the weeksy. There goes the ornate biter, flagtail, Jardini arrow. We got the granulosus cat. He's starting to get fat. There's another one right back there. The planiceps. We've got the Irwini cats. And this giraffe cat, I'm actually getting ready to pull him out because he's starting to be a bully in this tank. So he is going to have to be upgraded, get with some bigger fish that he cannot bully around. One that worries me a little bit is the fly river turtle over here. So right now he's sitting peacefully, but the giraffe cat loves to come up and he might suck on his feet or his shell, and I just don't want to stress out the fly river turtle too much. So give you guys a little last look at this 1,000 gallon. I know you guys love watching the fish content while I am talking to you. Sometimes it's, you know, words of advice. This time, not so much. I mean, well, I guess you could if you're talking about force feeding fish and whatnot. I will say, however, catfish are some of the easiest fish to force feed. But when you're dealing with a catfish, 9 times out of 10, you don't have to force feed them because they are gluttonous pigs. But I have had to force feed gar, and I have had a positive success with a majority of them. I think I've only lost 1 gar in the past, but a majority of the time, the other ones worked well. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope it was a better outcome, but it is what it is. We keep on keeping on. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay fishy, my friends.